the most overrated team in the NBA. This team has been named a lock to make the finals and get out of the East multiple years now, and have done nothing but fail expectations, and have also been given a pass by these guys as well, just because their star player decided to outperform everyone. Well, guess what? This team is the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets have been on a 6-game losing streak and have fallen from the first seed all the way to the 6th, and could fall even deeper into play-in tournament territory. Well, with Kevin Durant being out for 6 to 4 weeks, well, this just shows that the Brooklyn Nets are nothing without Kevin Durant. And the reason of this could be the lack of role players. With their 3 star players being Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, this has left little cap and room for role players to come into the squad due to financial reasons. Really, their only role players that they have is maybe Harris and Patty Mills. The rest aren't very good. What does this mean? Well, if you take a look at the past 2 teams that made the finals, the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks were filled with stars and role players. And this is a trend that has been going on for a while, that not only do you need star players, but you're also going to need role players to help out. And the Brooklyn Nets have the star players, but not enough role players. Like last year, they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in the game before the conference finals, and were outmatched by the amount of role players that Milwaukee had coming off the bench and starting against their team that relied on just Kevin Durant and an injured James Harden due to Kyrie Irving being out like always. An unreliable star Kyrie Irving is, that's always injured and being unresponsible and just not playing for dumb reasons just because he wants to be special. Well, this could also cost them for not trading Kyrie Irving or at least James Harden, because they're 2 of the most unreliable players in the playoffs due to Kyrie Irving incapability of understanding he has to play, and James Harden's injury problem and lack of showing in the playoffs. Because when it comes to the regular season, James Harden is a beast sometimes, not all the time. But when it comes to postseason, this guy will drop 40 points but shoot the ball 50 times. But Kevin Durant is the reason why this team has any chance of making it far, just because this guy has shown that he can drop 50 points and have them in the game. But all these other teams have a better matchup in the playoffs due to all the role players and star players they got. For example, the Sixers. They got Joel Embiid and their second star out, but all the role players are young and shooters and have stepped up throughout the season, giving the Sixers a better look than they looked last year. But I always am high on the Sixers, but this year I'm not very high. Don't want to get my confidence up for this team because I do like Joel Embiid, but I would love to see how he does in the playoffs without Ben Simmons, and not even players coming in for Ben Simmons, because they're not even going to trade him, which I think is unfortunate for the Sixers. Now, another team, maybe like Chicago Bulls, who have nothing but stars and role players. They played their offseason very well and are like 1 or 2 seed this year right now as it stands. But the East is up for grabs because the 1st seed and the 5th seed have a difference of 2 or less games, which anybody can get home court advantage. But the Brooklyn Nets have been falling, and I believe they're overrated just because they rely too much on Kevin Durant. And just with him being out the past games, they have gone on a losing streak. And this just shows how overrated and how their team is not built for the playoffs, and are just built for Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden to have a threesome in the NBA. Like and subscribe. And also leave a comment if you think the Brooklyn threesome will make it to the finals or win the championship, or what their season will end up being.